Good morning, and I welcome you to this new chapter. Yes, it's a new day and a new lesson in P5, term 2 works what we're covering. And remember, we are following our workbooks. We are following our workbooks. So right now, where are we? We have so far gone as far as page 8. I welcome you to this new topic. I'm telling you, it's letter writing. The topic is letter writing. And you're going to learn today that in letter writing, at our level, the teacher will tell us that there are only 2 kinds of letters we can be taught. But like I'm saying, at our level of P5, the only letters we are going to look at are the ones we call informal letters. They are the ones we call informal letters. When are we likely to learn about the other kind of letters? Obviously, the opposite of informal is formal. And that means the other type of letters we can talk about is formal letters. Teacher, when do we learn about formal letters? We are meant to be taught about formal letters in the classes ahead. That is P7. Should be P7, yes. Not even P6, but P7, unless things change. So, at our level, we focus on letters that are informal. Informal letters. So we have a lot of stuff to look at here, but before we look at the new words or the vocabulary to be used in this topic or subtopic of informal letters. What are informal letters? Let's start with a definition. What are informal letters? Informal letters are those letters that we write to friends, relatives, or any other people we know very well. An informal letter is a letter written to a friend, to a relative, or to any other person the writer knows very well. An example, if I'm here, let me use you as an example. If you're seated there and you know you have your aunt is in the category of a relative. Yes, your aunt is your relative. And you think of writing a letter to her, thanking her for whatever she has done for you in the holiday visit you paid her. Yes, supposing you visited your aunt somewhere in the village or in town, and you did a lot of stuff for her. She also appreciated you at the end of that holiday. Then she waved goodbye to you as you left and went back to your home. You're going to write a letter to her, thanking her for whatever she did for you during that period. So all that stuff can be written in a letter known as an informal letter. A letter written to a friend, right here, to a friend, a relative, or any other person you know very well is an informal letter. Which other word can I use for informal letters? Or which other term can I use to mean informal letters? Informal letters are also known as friendly letters. Friendly letters. So a friendly letter and an informal letter are the same. A friendly letter, an informal letter. What else can we use to mean informal letter? Personal letter. We can also call it a personal letter or personal letters if they are many. So we have friendly letters, personal letters, informal letters. They all mean the same. And what are the features of an informal letter? In your informal letter, you must have your address. But have I talked about the address in our explanation? Okay, let's go through the vocabulary list first. Then we'll get the details of an informal letter. What is an informal letter made of? So our list is here. We see informal letter, then address. The address consists of the town where you stay, the box number, and in fact we start with the place, then the box number, and finally the town where the post office is. That is the address. So write your address. We require, for example, if you are using your school address, the school is the very place where you were at that very moment. So the school is mentioned first. Train up a child check this. I'm trying to show you how best to assemble address, because I think this is one of the questions you're going to face in the next pages of the workbook. Train up a child, that's my place where I am right now. If I'm going ahead with my address, what next after that? The place. It may not be a school address, it may be a village, your home address. For example, if you're at home, you're not going to write your mom's number or place, what? You're going to write that very place where you stay. For example, zone what? Let's say you are in zone 19. Zone 19 is your place or your village. Another one can say, which village? Katwe. LC1. That's my place. That's where I stay. So after that, go to the box number. Go to the box number. We are learning how to write an address. A full address in any format. Train up a child. Oh, this is incomplete. Primary school. Next, the teacher has talked about the box number, and that is P.O. Box. The number 30008. This is part of the school address. Now we're going back to my home address. Zone 19 is where I stay, away from school. So I say zone 19, P.O. Box. Yeah, think of a box number that can fit here. You can even say 27. Finished. Now back to Katwe. Maybe Katwe is your place. For me, mine is zone 19. Katwe LC1 P.O. Box. We are writing our address 196. I'm just guessing you stay in Katwe LC1 and your box number is P.O. Box 196. Back to the very last line in the writer's address. We are learning how to write an address. It is the place where you stay first, the box number, then the town where the post office is. Train up a child, primary school, P.O. Box 30008. This one is in Kampala. I swear, Kampala. Now zone 19, P.O. Box 27. This is an example of a home address. Zone 19, P.O. Box 27. Where do you stay? Which town? Dungam. Finished. That's my complete address. Next, Katwe LC1 P.O. Box 196. Which place is this? Which town is this? Let's say this is, maybe you have a post office box in Deva. We can say Deva. Finished. That's my home address. All these are different examples of addresses. You must be aware of how best we can assemble an address. We said it is the place first. Then the box number second, and the town. Start with the town, go to the place, go to the box number, you are off topic. You're doing things your own style, therefore you will not get a mark for that disorganized work. So that's how best we can assemble our address. Now workbook, we see something connected to that. Allow me to say something about addresses. On page 12, they are saying arrange and punctuate the addresses below correctly. One thing I didn't do was to punctuate, but we can write without punctuating. Still, we can write while punctuating with a full stop at the end here. We can write while punctuating the addresses, those two commas necessary, plus a full stop after the town. You can also leave it unpunctuated. It's also correct. But if you put a comma here, another comma here, you need a full stop. If you put a comma here, you forget one here, you put a full stop, you have no mark for that unpunctuated address. Let's be careful. So if you are told to punctuate, this is what you're meant to do. Put the two commas and the full stop. Okay, we are back here. From address, we see the salutation. The salutation. That expression later, beginning with dear. Dear followed by someone's first name. Not surname, but first name. Your first name, dear child watching this video, is your English name or your Arabic name. That's your first name. So it is dear plus the first name of the person who is receiving your letter. Dear followed by the first name of the person receiving your letter, and that is your salutation. An example. If you are Kato Ivan, we may take it that your surname is Kato, but your first name is Ivan. Don't say, there the first name is Kato because it has come first. No, this is called the surname. One might maybe call it the last name. But this is the first name. The teacher has told you your first name is your English name, if you're not a Christian, or your Arabic name. If you don't belong there, I can't guess about the names used in other religions. Maybe your name you got from your religion, or your pastor, or your priest, or any other religious leader. That name is your first name. So you say, you address Kato Ivan as Dear Ivan. Dear Ivan. That is dear plus someone's first name. Part of the salutation. And the salutation comes just after a date. As you will see in the letter we'll look at today. Salutation, then greeting. The greeting is what one would call the introduction. The introduction. Now later. How are you? Let me hope you are fine. How is home? How are my friends? Are they still behaving badly the way they used to do in the holiday? All that stuff is talked about in the greeting or the introduction of your letter. Next to the body, yes, this may be part of the body, but the key part of the body or the major part of the body is that part where you indicate the exact reason you have written the letter. You indicate the exact reason for writing the letter in the body. I am writing to inform you about how I have suffered in this lockdown. I did this and this. I wanted to revise, but there was no chance. I turned on the TV, but went off because of power. All that stuff. That's the main reason for writing your letter. You're informing Ivan how you have suffered during that lockdown. Okay. After the body, we see the word envelope. We know an envelope. A paper container for letters. Paper container for posting, not posting, for keeping letters. That's an envelope. We have a parcel, then posting, that is sending a letter to someone from the post office. We have words like dear, then lovely, affectionately, date, the date we know very well, then receiver. The receiver is the person to whom the letter has been addressed. The receiver is the person to whom the letter has been addressed. The receiver is also known as the recipient with this spelling. The recipient. Yes. Then we have a host, hostess, reply, occasion, guest, sender, invite, write, then letter, invitation card, that letter you write. It is always designed in a wonderful way. You send it to someone to invite him, like the word sounds. Invitation comes from invite. You write invitation cards to people to invite them or to call them to come and attend your occasions. For example, I can send you an invitation card to come and attend my birthday party. Yes, that's an invitation card. If it's not a card, then it can be an invitation letter. Then lastly, we have the word sincerely. This is the way the words appear in your workbook. We have a task there, and the task is to read, spell, and pronounce the words correctly. Read, spell, and pronounce the words correctly. Next is to construct meaningful sentences using the words as they appear in the workbook. Similarly, That's the very way they appear on the board. If we are done with this part, I can now talk about the letter itself. What makes up a letter? What's the layout? Or what's the best way to assemble my friendly letter? If I want to write a friendly letter to someone, how do I start? What next? How do I end? That's where the teacher is taking us. We were looking at informal letters, also known as friendly letters, also known as personal letters. So we are here. Comprehension. We have a letter in our comprehension task today, and that is an informal letter. Read this letter from Godfrey and answer the questions that follow. Read this letter from Godfrey and answer the questions that follow. We see Happy Times Primary School, P.O. Box 2023, page. Happy Times Primary School, P.O. Box 2023, page. After that, the teacher has skipped. I assume, you assume there is a lane here. A lane is that space between the lines. So there is some space here between these lines. So that's the space you need to skip when you finish the address. The address is written, Happy Times Primary School, comma, P.O. Box 2023, comma, PG full stop. We have now learned further how to assemble our address. The date after skipping a lane is 4th July 2016. 4th July 2016. NB. I have not used a single punctuation mark in this date. And that's something you should note now. Never spare your date. I call it spearing the date. When you put a full stop, you are killing it by spearing it using that useless pen. Not allowed. A comma here, ignore it. Write your date, that style. This is the very date you're given in your Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary. So it's the best way to write your date, especially in a letter. If you add a date, for example, Monday, 4th July 2016. Then you need a comma. Teacher, where do I put the comma? I put the comma after the day. But after the month, we don't recommend that. After the month, we do not recommend that you use a comma. So be careful. But normally when writing letters, we recommend you write this shorter version of the date. 4th July 2016. That's our date. After the date, once again, we have to skip a lane. We have to skip a lane. The teacher has told us a lane is that space between two lines. That space between two lines is the lane. If these are the two lines, there is a line here and a line here. This space between the two lines is the lane. So this is one lane. So skip one lane under the date, go to the salutation. The salutation, like the teacher just explained, is dear plus the recipient's first name. It is dear followed by the recipient's first name. Dear, this time the first name of my recipient is John. Dear John. Now listen, you're going to read what the teacher will ask you questions about. Dear John, again after Dear John, we skip another lane. Skip another lane. Don't connect or don't combine the salutation and the greeting or the introduction of your letter. There should be a lane separating the two. We go. I'm sorry I have taken long without communicating to you. How are you, my friend? Do you still love English? Anyway, I'm writing to inform you that I shall not be able to attend Aunt Juliet's wedding this weekend. This is because I am involved in the school production practice which will be presented at the end of this holiday in the National Theatre. Please send my greetings to all my friends and tell them that I am really missing them. Have a nice time. Your great friend, Kenneth. Kenneth is the writer of the letter, according to what we see. Still, Kenneth did not use the two names because it is not proper to use two names in an informal letter. I hope you are learning. Meaning, we are going to slightly change the typing error we see in the book, where we see two names. In an informal letter, we are meant to use one name, and that should be your first name. If the name was Kenneth Mukisa, we choose the first name, which is Kenneth. Yes, in other words, the English name according to what we see here, and we use that in our letter. Let's repeat the letter. Happy Times Primary School, P.O. Box 2023 in Pidgey, 4th July 2016. Dear John, I'm sorry I've taken long without communicating to you. How are you, my friend? Do you still love English? Anyway, I'm writing to inform you that I shall not be able to attend Aunt Juliet's wedding this weekend. This is because I am involved in the school production practice, which will be presented at the end of this holiday in the National Theatre. Please send my greetings to all my friends and tell them that I am really missing them. Have a nice time. No full stop. Your great friend, Kenneth. So here, we have questions about that letter, and the teacher would like to discuss with you only a few of them. Then later, you'll be able to answer all the remaining questions, having all this guidance. Questions, we have number one as, who wrote this letter? Who wrote this letter? We have just talked about that. If this is the sender, no. This is the one receiving the letter. Then the writer's name appears at the bottom of the letter. In other words, the sender's name or the writer's name appears at the bottom of the letter. So we say, who wrote this letter? Kenneth wrote this letter. What do I do? In comprehension, we recommend that you underline where you are getting that answer from. Get your ruler, get your pen, underline. To show the teacher that you are not on guesswork, you will see where the answer is. Therefore, you can write it the way it is required. Who wrote this letter? Kenneth wrote this letter. Kenneth wrote this letter. Full stop. Never forget to punctuate your sentences, even in section B. A and B all require the right punctuation marks. To whom was the letter written? To whom was the letter written? If it is Dear John, where do I get the person to whom the letter was written or addressed? I check where there is Dear. Dear plus the recipient's name. In other words, I go to the salutation. The salutation shows me the recipient of the letter or the person to whom the letter was written. That person's name appears in the salutation. So we see to whom was the letter written. In the salutation we have Dear Joan. So I underline Joan. Then I go ahead and write my answer neatly writing. The letter was written to that girl, Joan. The letter was written to Joan. Simple as that. Next, when will the play be presented in National Theatre? When will the play be presented in National Theatre? This question is 7 about our letter in the workbook on that page 9, but the teacher wants to answer it with us so that we avoid challenges trying to work out the answers in the next day. In the other questions he has not yet discussed. When will the play be presented in National Theatre? I saw it somewhere like here, so you can read the whole paragraph. Anyway, I'm writing to inform you that I shall not be able to attend Aunt Juliet's wedding this weekend. This is because I am involved in the school production practice, which will be presented at the end of this holiday. in the National Theatre at the end of this holiday. Now, there's a problem with this word, this. If we say this holiday, it means the holiday of this very year. And that's what the holiday is. So this person was talking about. Kenneth was not talking about the holiday of 2021. He was talking about the holiday of 2016. I guess it was second term. End of second term. Yes, that holiday. Okay. Let's change pronoun this, demonstrative pronoun this to that. So that we don't write things that are meaningless by saying at the end of this holiday. Which is not fair. It will not be correct. In fact, if you say at the end of this holiday, which holiday? This holiday of 2021? Impossible. So we say the play will be presented in National Theatre at the end of the holiday. The play will be presented at wrong preposition. In, I use the preposition given in the question. In National Theatre. At the end of the holiday. But like I said, it's always important to underline the source of your answer at the end of this holiday. Having underlined, no one will doubt your answer because they will check and see these underlined words. In other words, we call it highlighting. You highlight where you're getting your answer from, then do that to all the questions that are made in this workbook, especially questions of comprehension. You have to highlight or to show the teacher where you're getting that answer you are writing in your workbook or in your paper. That is, in case you're doing an exam. So, this activity is on page 9 of our workbook. Continue answering the remaining questions. After that, there is another comprehension piece, which is on page 10. It is on page 10. And that's another letter. Bududa Community School P.O. Box 41 Bududa, Monday 30th June 2016. Dear Uncle, that's the brief word. Stuff I can say about the way the letter was started. Who wrote it? Your loving niece, Mukite. Mukite is the one who wrote it. By the way, I didn't say something about this. Never put a full stop at the end of your name. It is very wrong. Never put a full stop at the end of your name. It's like punctuating your name. Very funny when a name is punctuated. So that's on page 10. We have another letter almost assembled like this, and the questions about it are clearly written there. You'll answer them exactly the way you have been guided in this lesson. Next, we see page 11 presenting us with a friendly letter. Which friendly letter, by the way? They have only given us the vocabulary. We have the vocabulary to read there. I see words like invite, letter, envelope, which is a noun with E. Then the envelope without E, without the last E, and that is a verb. Address, card, occasion, party, guests, host, etc. We are telling you to read and pronounce the words correctly. You read those words, pronounce them correctly. Then you have to construct meaningful sentences using those very words. Use those very words on page 11 to construct meaningful sentences. Next, there's another activity I wanted you to try out. There are 2 more activities remaining. Yes, on page 12, we have addresses. At the beginning of the lesson, I talked about how best we can arrange addresses. We said start with a place, the box number, then the town. After the town, maybe you can now skip a lane and you write the date. After skipping 1 lane from the town, like I guided you at the beginning. And Still the way it appears here. This is exactly what we want you to do. The words you are going to arrange on page 12 are from the place, that is Happy Times Primary School in my this year, up to the date. That's all we want you to do. They are jumbled, assemble them the right way. 1, 2, 3. There are 3 marks. I wish you success as you battle for those 3 marks. What next? We saw guided lit on page 13. Guided, meaning we gave you a letter and we request you to fill in the missing words. The dashes are provided. Then you're going to read and use this knowledge, use the knowledge here, use the knowledge the teacher has been giving you in the lesson, and answer all those questions or fill in all those gaps on page 13. The next time we meet, there's another activity by the way, and that is composition writing. In composition writing, this time you're not going to write a composition, a free composition as one may call it. You're going to write a letter. You are going to write a letter, and this letter is a friend letter that the teacher has been guiding us. How do I start it? Use this knowledge. How do I end it? Use this knowledge. So you're writing a letter. They are saying using your school address. Write a friendly letter inviting your friend to your sister's wedding ceremony. You see, tell him or her the date and time of the ceremony, the place where it will be held, and the important people who have been invited, all the important people who have been invited to that wedding. That's the message you're supposed to show on that letter. So, allow me to say, we've come to the end of our lesson today, and I wish you success as you do the activities I've been talking about in this lesson, up to page 13. I wish you success. We'll meet next time. The next time we meet, the discussion will be about punctuation marks. I mean quotation marks, not punctuation marks. Quotation marks. Quotation marks will be key to our discussion in the next time, in the next lesson. That's on page 14. I wish you the best. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.